international university of management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, King's daughters working to rehabilitate sex workers. Aranda's town council repossesses homes. Local fruit farmer taps into local market. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. Aiming to rescue commercial sex workers, rehabilitate them and give them a better chance in society, the King's Daughter organization, now in existence for 16 years, is working to reduce sex workers in Namibia through providing rehabilitation, counseling, education and skills training in beads, needlework and computer lessons.
The organization's work, according to its project manager, is to rehabilitate ex-sex workers from the triggers leading them to sex work, which she notes is due to poverty, early school dropouts and single parenthood with no assistance. The organization currently caters for over 30 former sex workers who are rehabilitated through face-to-face group counseling sessions, referred for skills training and job placements.
Many people think that sex work is actually standing on a street with a very short skirt and asking for truck drivers or anybody else to pick you up and to have sex. But sex work is very subtle. The moment you receive cash or gifts or vouchers or goods in relation to return sex, then it's actually sex work. So we as a population, as a Namibian nation, should actually reflect on what am I as a person also doing? Am I contributing to that? So that sex becomes like an object and where you are paid, but we see other people as sex workers. So, but this organization is here to help. We are just a support network in terms of HIV/AIDS prevention, in terms of condom distribution, in terms of if they have children, to make sure that the maintenance are paid of those fathers, to make sure that the children are in schools, to make sure that they are going for their ARVs, their following ups in terms of social work intervention and counseling. That is our role and our function. If they have any things that we can use, clothing, yes, toiletries, types of shelter where we can make shelter for the sex workers. They also bring their babies when they come because they have no one to look after the babies when they come for counseling sessions or group sessions. So if you are a volunteer and you need to have your hours, if you are studying legal and you would like to do more practicum, for them to understand how they could help themselves in terms just to get maintenance from the children's court, just to get a birth certificate, to get an ID, so that they have those basic identification documents. Any type of help, you can contact the organization.
The founding director for the organization notes that it aims to restore these women's dignity through empowerment, adding that the rehabilitation program was initially for alcohol and drugs. However, the organization found that these substances were the leading factors to prostitution.
We have a peer-driven approach, meaning commercial sex workers who went through the rehabilitation program and also been trained as peer educators, they are the ones that go out and engage with their peers who are still on the streets. And that works very well because it is very clear that they are more at ease to talk to somebody that knows where they are coming from, what are their challenges and as such. And then we find that they voluntarily come forward and also ask for help, especially with the reference of this is what became of my life after I left the streets. This is what I went through and how King's Daughters empowered me. And that encouraged the others to also come look for help. And then they go through the rehabilitation process, and afterwards we started the support group. Yeah, the aftercare support groups. So in order to encourage them to stay sober. And this support group, especially for the alcohol and drugs, had a 50% sobriety rate at a time, which is very good in any rehabilitation program background. We extended that support group also to a psychosocial support to the members.
The organization also has an adherence support group which assists HIV-positive sex workers take their antiretroviral therapy on time, for which the organization provides them food packs for. It is now sourcing for more support towards the rehabilitation of ex-sex workers.
Hi, welcome to the program. I'm Debula. So let's get on the road with this. Having someone who likes what you like can be great. It gives you something to chat about and share with each other, yeah? But what if you both want to be at the very top of what you're doing and your main rival is your brother? Can you imagine?
Mount Nyiragongo, located in the Democratic Republic of Congo, is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It's found in the Virunga Mountains and located 6 miles from Goma. So what caused Mount Nyiragongo to erupt?
This is Women in African Music virtual exhibition. It was created by the British-Nigerian documentary photographer Michael Tubes.
Women in African Music exhibition is about celebrating women behind the scene and women performing on the stage.
A group of Aranda's residents staged a peaceful protest to voice their displeasure with the town council. They claim to be fed up with the council's poor management and want to see a change in housing conditions in particular.
The houses are standing like rubbish, and the owners never went to the town council to say, "That's my house," from those days. They never came and asked why there are people in my house. It's late now. They want to come and claim their houses after 25 years. This is why the town council gave up on those houses. It's not our fault. It's the town council's fault.
I was told that I can't transfer the house in my name without the original owner going to the lawyers to transfer the house and sign off all the necessary documents.
Aranda's Town Council CEO Stanley Norris said that they released an advert calling on the original homeowners to come in and resolve this issue.
In line with Section 30, subsection 1S of the Local Authorities Act 23 of 1992 as amended, it states the following: that council has the power to acquire, hire, hypothecate, or let any immovable property, or sell, or otherwise dispose of such immovable property in a manner that the council may deem fit. In line with your question, in the year 2006, there was a large-scale retrenchment that was affected by Rossing uranium. So we can thus see that this is a 15-year-old matter. So when these large-scale retrenchments took place, there was various bond holders where the residents had bonds with the council. As however they were retrenched at the time, various of these bondholders alienated their homes and also alienated their bonds. As a result of this, the homes became quite vandalized. Council resolved at the time, as the homes were becoming more vandalized, that it would execute its rights as a bondholder in terms of the rules of the bond. In order to stop the vandalism of the homes, Council allocated these homes to tenants. After continuing attempts to reach these homeowners that had alienated their homes, Council resolved that it would give an opportunity to those individuals that were occupying the homes. However, these transactions could not be completed without the properties having been transferred back to Council. So Council placed an advert to inform the alienated homeowners to either come back and resolve the matter with Council or to donate and transfer the properties back to Council. However, at that time, the economic situation had improved and various of the homeowners wanted their homes back. This matter with some of the homeowners went up to the High Court, where the parties were informed to settle this matter outside of court. So in the meantime, Council were able to resolve a lot of these matters with about 26 of them remaining. It must therefore be clarified that there is no such thing as a double ownership. It was only the attempt to transfer the properties back to Council at the time.
In conclusion, Nori stated that residents should be patient as this situation will be handled on a case-to-case basis.
Remember the mission, yeah, revisualize the vision, connect to the journey, start early, step one, step two, next step, restart at the beginning of what I'm feeling, the future we believe in, let's start dreaming, NAMIBIA, no matter what they say, we here to stay, so find believers just like you, hand in hand, this is what we do. More steps, yeah, we get through, let's go. Start again, you can. You connected to the world, yeah, we stand. Determined to move on hand in hand. Put the switch on, a new reform. Let's rise. Together we rise. MTC, make the connection.
Nothing is too good for my daughter. Now here's the deal, Nambi. There's no playing around with other boys before your wedding. Do you understand me? It's the most important day of your life.
Nambi, baby, you have a face like a beautiful person. I got you this Virgin Mary necklace to protect your innocence.
Stupid man. We have loved each other since high school and now you want to turn your back on me? All the plans we made, you just throw them away? And you want Nambi now? When I've always been there for you, Ziwa, do you understand? And she doesn't even love you. I wasted my time on someone like you.
Don't be like that, Jalia.
Love, everybody needs it. Love.
A local farmer from the Zambezi region, Rasbu Mwemba, has ventured into fruit farming to alleviate poverty as well as create employment. Mwemba of Farm Luwawo currently has an orchard with about 200 mango trees and a variety of fruit trees.
The owner of Luwawo Farm has been farming for over 3 years on a 3 hectares piece of land in the Zambezi region. He says the reason he started farming is because he wanted to create employment and tap into the local market to alleviate poverty in the community.
The most important thing in a farm, most especially when you are starting, one, you have to have capital to start your project. Enough capital. 2, you need to have land. Where are you going to operate your project? Which means when you have those 2 things, then you know now you are okay. Because through that capital, that's where you are going to purchase yourself a fence to fence your area for safety, then farm inputs and other equipment to use in the farm. So for now we are operating for almost 3 years. We have got 3 hectares and now we are adding another hectare. which means by now I'm going to take you to the other side so that you can see some seedlings. We have more than 3,000 pieces of seedlings. We have apples, we have bananas, we have pawpaws, we have guavas, avocados, we have oranges, we have nuts, and even indigenous plants, we have them. So we are selling at different prices. It depends to the type of that fruit, which means farming, it is something that needs determination.
He further said that being a farmer, they are often faced with challenges of water supply because of the farm's location, as well as the local market that is flooded with other sellers from other countries who come to Namibia to sell their goods.
We have almost 5 people working in the farm. In other words, it's employment opportunity. You are creating employment and the poverty alleviation, you know. So by so doing, you will find that the most challenging thing, most especially here where you don't have we don't have rivers, is water. That's the most challenging thing. So we have dug a borehole. We have a borehole over that side. That's where we drew our water. So it's challenging because we have to use some generators to pump waters and so on. But anyhow, we are coping. It's not a problem. So during rain season, we use rain to produce a lot of sweet potatoes. You see, there is no much challenges on sweet potatoes, but each and every crop you grow in this region, the main problem is market. You know, where are you selling them? Where are you going to sell them? For consumption local, sometimes you will find that it is flooded. The Zambian products, they also come and so on, but it's not a big deal.
Member says to be a farmer, one should seek knowledge and education and be equipped with farming techniques, adding that one should be hardworking, resilient, and determined to be a farmer. He urges Namibians to tap into agriculture sector to curb poverty and unemployment.
We can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then, let's stay safe.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day.
In other leading stories, the Namibia University of Science and Technology, NUST, will host the 5th Annual National Secretaries Convention on 8 October 2021. The event will be held under the theme Re-envisioning Service Quality Through Digital Transformation. In recent times, the duties and responsibilities of secretaries, personal assistants, and office administrators have evolved beyond clerical administrative tasks. In the contemporary business world, individuals occupying such roles must be equipped with an understanding of developments in the field and the significance of the secretarial and administrative functions. The National Secretaries Convention aims to bring together secretaries, personal assistants, and office administrators and seeks to promote personal and professional development amongst this group of professionals. The advancement of digital technologies and their use in business processes in the public and private sectors has created a need for various professions to grasp the application thereof and develop a high level of competence in this regard. As new trends and developments emerge, secretaries, PAs, and office administrators are equally expected to respond in a dynamic way to ensure a high level of efficiency and effectiveness. The 2021 iteration of the convention will therefore expose participants to modern digital technologies as well as create a platform for networking and sharing of best practices. This event also aims to break the gender stereotype associated with the secretarial and administrative function is a key objective of the convention in keeping with the evolution of these roles in the contemporary workplace. Individuals with experience in secretarial and administrative roles or those new to these functions, as well as office supervisors or managers interested in harnessing new tools that have emerged in the digital era, are the primary target audience for the event. And the Development Bank of Namibia has announced a facility to finance climate change adaptations, bolstering its long track record of finance with beneficial environmental and social initiatives. Explaining the facility, DBN CEO Martin Nkumbi said it provides an affordable and tailored financing solution for climate and environmental friendly projects. The bank has previously financed low-carbon renewable energy generation, water reclamation for industrial use in Wolfish Bay, water storage in Necrotal Dam, and reclamation initiatives. Nkumbi said that finance for climate adaptation is important and there is a range of affordable financing instruments for such business projects. The bank, he said, has already pioneered financing models for renewable energy and is now setting its sights on energy and water use efficiency as well as mitigating the effects of rising temperatures. On the topic of water, Nkumbi said that the bank has financed large-scale water infrastructure such as Necrotal Dam and aqua utilities, which semi-purifies water for industrial use at Wolfish Bay. However, he said that in the face of prolonged droughts, there is an opportunity for enterprises to invest in water efficiency. Investing in technology and processes that are energy and water efficient reduces the amount of energy and water consumption per output for a business, which lowers production and/or operational costs and improves profitability. Although water efficiency will not alleviate drought, it can lead to improvements in enterprises' bottom line, in addition to preserving the environment.
You can be tempted to become bitter and cynical. You're tempted. You're not there yet. Maar jy het besluit, man, die ding wat ek aangedoen is, gaan my verbitter, ek gaan my verbitter, maar so you feel to give yourself over to those emotions of becoming cynical and you can also be tempted to take revenge. Paulus sê, you have been grafted, julle is ingeënt in Christus. Wat Christus is, moet julle wees. Wat uit hierdie boom uitkom, ek is die ware wynstok, ek is eintlik die bron waaruit julle lewe. Dit moet in julle vrug wees. Julle moet smaak soos ek smaak, sê die Here. Kan ek 'n amen kry? Ek hou niks meer van julle terug nie. Julle is opgegradeer.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
Hola Simba flavors. Let's roll. Slice, smoke beef. Kwena finiga. Shaya chocolate. Shakita mud.
Together we roll because Simba roars with flavor.
And tonight on Business on One, the Minister of Industrialization Trade, Lucia Ipumbu, recently inaugurated the new Walvis Bay branch of the Business and Intellectual Property Authority. The decision to relocate the office from Swakopmund was primarily influenced by the demand and trend figures from the Walvis Bay business community.
The BIPA board and management have been discussing relocating its Swakopmund branch, which has been in operation since February 2018, to Walvis Bay for some years because the town is home to the majority of the Irongo region's enterprises. At the opening, Lucia Ipumbu, Minister of Industrialization and Trade, encouraged the Irongo region's business community to use the new office's services to guarantee that their businesses are legally registered and operating within the country's legal frameworks.
I want us all to ensure that our businesses are registered and are operating within the legal framework that we have in this country. Many a times we want the shortcuts. Many a times we want to benefit that according to our parameters we are not entitled to. If you have registered your business for a specific purpose, stay in your lane, as they say. Don't go and do all other things that you are not legally qualified for. If you want to grow and do other things that other people are doing, follow the road. Let us please ensure that whatever we do is within the confinement of the regulatory framework that we need to operate under.
The chairperson of the BIPA Board of Directors, Riwanja Ali Kakunga, says that the office aims to decentralize its services in order to ensure BIPA's long-term viability and to prioritize its clients by providing accessible services with the utmost convenience, efficiency and improved turnaround times.
The need for BIPA services in other parts of the country is certainly undisputed. However, I can assure you that BIPA is hard at work to implement the decentralization plan. The objective of this plan is twofold. One, to ensure that BIPA services are accessible to as wide a geographical space possible. And secondly, to make doing business in Namibia easier by having the various services consolidated and ultimately ensuring a faster turnaround period for business registration and intellectual property rights protection. The inauguration of this Walvis Bay office is but a small win in a grand plan. Since the opening of the office on 1 July 2021, data have shown a spike in visits from clients and also an increase in applications. This is surely a sign that our stakeholders have been yearning for our presence here in Walvis Bay.
BIPA's new regional office will help the local business community in Walvis Bay and the Irongo region as a whole by lowering the cost of traveling to Windhoek or posting applications, as has been the case in the past.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Compliment Gap? Compliment Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders. Invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi there, parents. Do you have primary school kids and want them to get extra quality supplementary lessons to up their grades? Then simply switch to One Africa TV's #LearnOn1, where your kids can get maths, English and science lessons every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Now we look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. Expressions of interest of Windhoek Economy Recovery Initiative applicants are accusing the City of Windhoek's Procurement Management Unit of corrupt practice after they have witnessed expression of interest documents being sneaked into after the deadline, while certain people who arrived on time were turned away. Jacob notes that the City of Windhoek will never change, adding that they are no more in action. Lucas and Speedy say corruption is deeply embedded and will never die out. While Clement says that when he worked at the Post, he submitted yearly tenders for posting and printing, adding that the process then was honest and straight. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, from which point onward CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranjemund, which is no longer a closed town.
This ship was commandeered by King Charles III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden, did the maintenance of your house. You had furniture already installed in your house.
Time now for today's sports update with Castro Ulumbu.
Welcome to Sports on One. I am your host Castro Ulumbu.
The Namibia School Sport Union, together with Athletics Namibia, recently identified relay as one of the key sporting codes that needs development in the country. Thus, the NSSU will be hosting the first ever National Under-17 School Relay Championships in the Khomas region. Today on One Sports has more on this story. Today on One Sports caught up with the National Coordinator for NSSU, Solly Dacre, who explained why the championships will mainly focus on relays at school level rather than regional level.
This is the first partnership that started some way back between Namibia School Sports Union and Athletics Namibia. And because one of the cornerstones or one of the key areas, performance areas that AN has decided in was that they want to qualify for the 2024 Olympics a relay team. And that has necessitated that we've put heads together and say, let's start with under 15s. So although we are saying under 17, it is athletes that are turning 16. If we can start very early, so we've started already way back in June. Also due to COVID, we wanted to start it earlier, but due to the lack of sport in schools, we have postponed these championships, the regional championships. So yes, we've concluded all 13 regional championships except for Kunene region. On Saturday, 13 regions will compete in the first ever Under-17 Schools Championship. And that is also one of the key areas that NSSU has decided in Ojorongo in 2019, that we want to refresh school sports competitions at school level. And that's why it's not a regional competition, but a school competition. The relay, because relay is the only team sport for athletics. And one, we've got very good sprinters, but some of our sprinters are not yet at that level where they can participate as individuals. But when we join them, when we combine them as a team, then we will be able, and we've seen it with the under-20s, where we scooped silver. So, which means we can get gold.
As the Olympic Youth Games draw closer, Dacre also highlighted qualifying for the World Youth Games as a priority. Thus, in collaboration with Athletics Namibia, the NSSU is starting with developing the under-13 athletes. The national coordinator is also pleading for corporate Namibia to get involved in the development of the athletes at grassroots level.
Between NSSU and Athletics Namibia, that is just one of the key areas that we've touched on. The other one is we said we want to qualify for the Youth Olympics. Therefore, we are embarking on a development program with our under-13s next year. Already starting this year, end of October, November, looking for talented athletes. We came through at our national Coca-Cola National Championships, which was held in May. That is the key area. Gone are the days that NSSU operated in a silo, because NSSU is not Namibia. So with NSSU, with the Ministry of Education, with the Ministry of Sport, Sport Commission, and then the federations, together, we put heads together and say, what is best for our country? And how best, with the limited resources to our disposal, can we manage these targets? The major partner that needs to come to the party is the corporate Namibia. Because yes, corporate Namibia comes to the party, but they only comes to the party when there are medals and by our top athletes. But the work actually starts at grassroots level, and that's where we are currently busy now. So yes, we need them now, so that they can say they have invested in that athlete X amount of money from the beginning, and this is now the result that they are earning. And then we are saying, you can then valiantly say that you have contributed to the development of a specific gold medal in the country.
The 2021 National Under-17 School Relay Championships will take place in Windhoek this Saturday, the 9th of October, at the Independence Stadium from 9 in the morning. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks a lot, Castro, for the latest in sports. Time now for the weather forecast.
Now a look at the weather forecast. The interior will be partly cloudy and hot to very hot with a few thunder showers in the northeast, east and extreme central north. The coast will be partly cloudy and cool to mild with fog patches, and wind will be light to moderate southwesterly. Now let's have a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
We have come to the end of this evening's edition of Today on One. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team. Till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
I am a prisoner.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I think two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old, they were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future. My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything. to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest change is I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palambach, and Palambach is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife. And it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
10 conservation into a rural economy, 10 conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poached. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now each of changed to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bar was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I pick up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but when we've got a fund already ready for you, you just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to our people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, Integrated Rural Development and Nature Conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24-karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have, it's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
this is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan, my children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our Rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Ndachane kutumina kwe